Today, I am bringing you 3 defenses against the Abomination. Hey everyone, Derpy here, welcome back to another Battle Pirates video. These are 3 people attacking my base using Exterminator Abomination fleets for this first one. The other 2 are 5 Abomination fleets. The last player attacking me is actually a really good player with 900 medals, holding up against my decently average base. Now the point of this video is not to say, oh look at my base, it's so great, it's fantastic, I can beat anyone. It's saying in these 3 attacks, my base held up against fairly solid attackers. In this first battle, you saw the player send in 1 exterminator so far, trying to clear out my channel. That didn't end up working well because at this point right here, the entire path on the way in, you're being hit by 5 different of the new launcher turrets, which I'm definitely not going to try to pronounce. Once that first ship is dead and it got you about nothing, maybe showed you there were no mines in the channel, but there were oil rigs there anyway, we're going to go ahead and send in a few different Abominations and 1 more exterminator. The 2 Abominations are going forward, and they're going to do a great job clearing a few of the buildings, but they can't really hit the Overlord carrier. You are noticing the other 2 exterminators are attacking the Overlord carrier, and they're doing enough damage to this thing to actually kill it. If this base has 1 weakness, it's that the Overlord carrier is too exposed. Meanwhile, the 2 Abominations sent in are dying quite rapidly as they come around the corner in the high damage area of my different decimators, baffled turrets, and 2 different badgers. Notice the badger was also released, badger number 5, once the Overlord carrier died. We will come back to that in the next 2 replays. The Overlord being dead means the base is much easier, but it doesn't do much if you only have 1 chip left. And that's the end of that replay. Jumping into number 2, and at this point we are Derpy 1, attackers 0. This player has 5 Abominations, but they're not really that skilled. Notice how the first one is unstacked, which is great. It means the shockwave from the different turrets are not actually doing damage to all 5 ships, but then again, the other 4 are stacked, so when they get hit by anything, there's going to be splash damage on top of those. It's a great idea to have your ships separated in today's meta because so much of everything we have is splash damage based. Notice for my base, the idea or style of this thing is to have one ship run in and kill that one as quickly as possible. Everything else, even if you just space them out like a train, they have to go in the base and out of the base. You will also notice that this attacker did drop a turret, a pinch on the outpost, which was not a great move because pinches don't work if you do have a certain special equipped. I forget the name, but it stops the stun resist. Another weakness for this base rather is that all 3 portals are stacked together. This means if very high damage ships such as the Abominations come in, they do a lot of damage to those portals and kill them almost instantly. At this point, the player is still all stacked up, which is very bad against the corrosive mine they just hit, and the other few are going to hit in the rest of this replay. They also start targeting the Overlord carrier, which originally, and in most bases, would be a great idea because it means you get through this final death zone more quickly, but it also means that you trigger the 5th badger, which has a sync drive. The sync drive matches the lowest speed ship in the fleet, and if the Overlord carrier is dead, it's going to start moving. We will actually see that in the 3rd replay, when the player does kill the Overlord carrier. Notice the mortars in this replay number 3 when we are at this point Derpy 2 attacker 0. There are mortars on this first ship. Why? Well, they're D75V mortars, and the only purpose of these things is to give this ship more combat speed. The Abomination has enough pure damage from the built-in weapon if you overload it with a bunch of built-in damage stats that it does really well and can take down portals. This attacking player is sending 1 ship in, killing 1 portal. You would prefer to kill all 3, but you'll get what you can, and that's the only purpose of this ship. It's not doing any damage with its weapons because it doesn't have any of these corrosive weapons. Ship number 2 is coming in, and this is another of these high-speed ships that's pretty tanky, and there's 2 or 3 more ships all stacked on top of each other on the very back one. And those back few ships all have corrosive damage on there and a negative spread, so it's concentrated damage from those corrosive guns at a lot of different places. You will see that he is taking a decent amount of damage, and he's not walking in free, but he also is getting past there and is around the highest damage portion of my base, which is just the portion he's at right now. If he can get through this, he should have a fair amount of success. All the short-range turrets are being cleared out around here, just 1 decimator left over here on the left, and 1 more to the right, which he hasn't reached yet. so he only has to worry about the different launcher turrets. But you will notice, and will remember, I talked about my base as you have to go in and also out. These few land tiles curving around here with the weapons lab here are so you can't just walk in the base once you're here. One corrosive mine just went off, and one more abomination was just sunk, and we have another corrosive mine he's about to hit. Two ships are still stacked on top of each other right now until he does split them off, which is great because it means there's less damage happening to them when it is splash damage. One more corrosive mine which only hits one ship, and the Overlord carrier is dead, which means Badger number 5 is in place and is tracking his ships here. The first abomination almost makes it through, hits one more mine and dies, and the second abomination dies to a combination of 3 different ships and the different launcher turrets. Well, I hope this video did show you that it is possible to still win in base defense, maybe gave you a few ideas. I don't like people just copying my layout, especially when there are big glaring weaknesses like an exposed Overlord carrier and an exposed island, or things like 3 portals all stacked onto each other. I would show you a replay of someone hitting my base and winning, but I don't actually have any because no one's done that in the last 15 or so attacks. Most of them are peaks. Thank you so much to channel members who are supporting the channel. You can see their names on screen. And as always, until next time, this is Derpy signing out, helping you be a better battle pirate. I messed that up. Helping you be a better pirate.